WTA Indian Wells 2026 entry list. Sabalenka, Swiatek, Rybakina, Gauff star. Will Eala be seeded? The Indian Wells Open is the third WTA 1000 tournament on the calendar, and all of the top 32 players in the women's rankings are set to star at this year's event. The 2026 Indian Wells Open will be the 37th edition of the WTA Tour event, which is staged at the Indian Wells Tennis Garden, also known as Tennis Paradise, in the Californian desert. The hardcourt tournament is considered one of the most prestigious competitions outside of the four Grand Slams. Mira Andreeva is the reigning champion, having defeated Aryna Sabalenka in the 2025 championship match. When will the tournament take place? The 2026 Indian Wells Open will be held from 4 to March 15th. How many players will feature in the main draw? The Indian Wells women's singles main draw will feature 96 players, a total made up of 76 direct entrants, 12 qualifiers, and 8 wildcards. WTA Tour News. WTA rankings race to Riyadh. Rybakina retains lead. Pegula soars to second. Gauff up to 8th. Swiatek -3. Serena Williams' ex-coach predicts whether Jessica Pegula can win a Grand Slam title. Want more from Tennis 365? Add us as a preferred source on Google to your favorites list for tennis coverage you can trust. Which players have received wildcards? Venus Williams, a former world #1 and 7-time major singles champion, is the only player who has received a wildcard so far. Have any players withdrawn? Lois Boisson and Veronika Kudermetova have both withdrawn from Indian Wells. Which former champions will play? 5 former champions are on the entry list. Andreeva, 2025, IGA Swiatek, 2022 and 2024, Elena Rybakina, 2023, Paula Badosa, 2021, and Naomi Osaka, 2019. Have any players used a special/protected ranking to enter? Players who have been unable to compete in any tournaments due to injury or pregnancy for a minimum of 6 months are eligible to use the WTA protected ranking system. The rule allows players to use the ranking they held at the time of their absence to enter 8 tournaments, or 12 if they missed more than a year. Wang Yafan, who is ranked 356th and last played in October, has used a special ranking to enter. Indian Wells 2026 WTA singles entry list and projected seeds, February 24th. Tennis. The Indian Wells Open, Tennis Paradise in the Desert. The 2026 BNP Paribas Open, commonly known as the Indian Wells Open, is one of the most coveted stops on the WTA Tour. Every March, the sun-baked courts of the Indian Wells Tennis Garden in Southern California host an elite field of women's singles players. It's not a Grand Slam, but let's be honest, this WTA 1000 event is every bit as dramatic, competitive, and telling of the season ahead. Rolling dunes and swaying palms, this is where tennis royalty convenes, where emerging stars announce themselves, and where seasoned champions add glittering titles to their resumes. White medium star headliners, the titans of the tour. At the top of the entry list are small blue diamond Aryna Sabalenka, world #1. The Belarusian powerhouse continues to dominate the tour. Known for her ferocious serve and fearsome ground strokes, Sabalenka remains the player everyone else fears in the draw. Entering Indian Wells as the #1 seed, she's the standard bearer and the player each contender measures themselves against. Small blue diamond IGA Swiatek, world #2. The Polish phenom is a modern great, cerebral, graceful, relentless. While her claycourt mastery is legendary, Swiatek translates that tactical brilliance onto hard courts with precision. As the #2 seed, she's a perennial finalist at WTA 1000s. Small blue diamond Elena Rybakina, world #3. The Kazakh star combines a serve that can flatten stadium roofs with fluid movement rare for a tall mover. Rybakina has claimed big titles and always threatens deep runs in hard-court tournaments like Indian Wells. Small blue diamond Coco Gauff, world #4. America's favorite rising legend, Gauff is fearless on home soil. Her explosive athleticism and ever-improving tactical game make her a matchup nightmare and a favorite in front of the California crowds. These four form a kind of power guard atop the rankings, everyone capable of winning Indian Wells and shaping narratives well into the clay and grass seasons. Cyclone inside the draw. Depth, drama, and star power. But Indian Wells isn't just about the top four. The entry list and ensuing seeds features a constellation of elite talent. Jessica Pegula, steady baseline virtuoso and consistent top five presence. Amanda Anisimova, dangerous flat hitter with a flair for big moments. Jasmine Paolini and Mira Andreeva, players with the skill to explode in big moments. Alina Svitolina, veteran road warrior and one of the tour's slyest tacticians. Across the 32 seeds, the depth is breathtaking, a reminder that any early round can be breathtaking, gut-wrenching, or utterly unpredictable. Fire Alex Eala, the Filipina sensation, seeded or not. Now the question you really asked, will Alex Eala be seeded at Indian Wells? Round pushpin current position. Alex Eala, the 20-year-old Filipino ace, has enjoyed a breakthrough season. Recent performances, including quarterfinal runs at high-level events, have helped her soar in the WTA rankings to a career-best number 31 as of the latest update. Round pushpin the seeding reality. At most WTA 1000 events like Indian Wells, 32 seeds are determined by the latest WTA rankings just before the tournament. Since Eala is right on the cusp, in or near the top 32, strong rankings and consistent play could indeed land her a seed. This would be a historic achievement, not just personal, but symbolic, a declaration that a new generation is staking its claim among the tour's heavyweights. Glowing star what it means. If Eala earns a seed, she avoids facing fellow seeds in the first round. Draw calculation becomes slightly kinder. Confidence shoots through the roof, for any player, but especially one breaking into the global elite from a country where tennis isn't traditionally dominant. No wonder fans are buzzing about the possibility. A number 31 ranking is no small feat, and it places Eala on the edge of breakthrough territory. Palm tree beyond rankings. Wild cards and veterans. Indian Wells always deliver surprises. Venus Williams, the legend, received a wild card into singles and doubles, a nod to her storied career and unique importance to the sport. Her presence is a reminder that trophies aren't the only draw here. History, legacy, and personal stories matter just as much. Performing arts the narrative. What's at stake? At Indian Wells 2026, the storylines span multiple layers. First place medal, can Sabalenka solidify her reign? Despite skipping some events recently, her commanding ranking lead keeps her as the favorite to extend her rule. Second place medal, will Swiatek claim her hardcourt crown? Her blend of tactical excellence and physical prowess keeps her perennially in title discussions. Third place medal, will Rybakina or Gauff rise up? Both pose real threats to the hierarchical order. Rybakina with sheer power and preference for big moments, Gauff with athletic restraint and combustible talent. Seedling, can the young guard break through? Eala, Andreeva, and others represent the future, explosive, unpredictable, and deeply fun. A seeding for Eala would symbolize a generational shift gaining steam. Trophy, what Indian Wells really represents. Indian Wells is a crossroads of tennis eras, where legends, current champions, and rising stars meet not just to win matches, but to define their seasons. It's where experience clashes with ambition, where pressure meets possibility. And at the center of all of it stands the draw.